What is up, homies? Christian back at it again with our Twin Sons action figure close-up. And today I have for us the Hasbro 6-inch Black Series Rebels Kanan Jarrus. Now, the new ones recently came out, like a couple months ago. They updated the entire Rebels lineup with a brand new face printing technology. They look very well done. They're really good. It was a pretty good upgrade. And as far as I know, that was the only upgrade they had. So I have all of the original Rebels, but I figured maybe I'd go through the newer ones, you know, in case anyone's thinking about getting the new Rebels with the face print or upgrading their old ones. Obviously, they would know the articulation, but maybe they want to open their old ones, and they wanted to see what they can expect when they do. So, for anyone who's still on the fence, I'll do these videos for you, and we're going to start off with Kanan. Now, Kanan is personally one of my favorite Rebels characters, him and Hera, easily. And they did good justice with this figure. So just right off the bat, you can see the head sculpt is very nicely done. Now remember, for their animated figures, they like to humanize them to make them look more real and stuff, so they'd fit in better on your Black Series shelf. You don't just have an obvious cartoon character on a shelf full of real figures, which I really appreciate, because then I can put them in the lineup with like Luke from Episode 4 and all those other Rebels and stuff. They all fit in perfectly, no one stands out. So starting off with this head, you can see here, very nicely done. And honestly, even these old paint apps, the reason I didn't upgrade is I think Hasbro actually kind of nailed it. The left eye is a little wonk, but overall, I mean, this paint app is very clean, very crisp. The hair, they put a little bit of highlight on there. You can see there, like a red highlight to go over that brown, give the hair some texture, a little bit of depth to it. Very nicely done. The beard and the eyebrows are all just flat brown though. The shirt and armor, very nicely done. Hasbro nailing it with their textures as always. I mean, just look at all that detail they put into there. Lots of detail just on that shirt, and it feels really nice too. I know that's kind of weird to say, but it just feels nice. The shirt, the green parts, they did a lot smoother of a texture to it, as you can see here. I don't know if it's supposed to be just one shirt that's two-toned, or if he's wearing an undershirt, half an arm of like leather armor, and then on this arm, you can see he's got the insignia here, number 2, the Phoenix Squadron. He has like actual metal armor on this side. You can see Hasbro put a really nice sheen on that paint application, really nice gunmetal to it. The pauldron right here, the one piece, what I think is called like a brassard when it's worn like this. He's wearing like a brassard. You see they actually put in a paint application there and there for the buckle and the strap. Kanan, he's a rebel, as you could say, because he's not tucking that extra flap into there. At the back, nicely textured too. Very nicely done. His belt, it's got a nice paint application there and there. The holster, which we'll get back to later. And you can see they actually went so far as to paint the blue loops that hold his belts. You can see that's almost looks like where he put his lightsaber, because we'll go over that in a minute. But yeah, they actually put the belt loops on his jeans, because Kanan kind of just wears jeans, you know? He's a simple man. He doesn't want anything fancy. He just, you know, some good American Levi's. Let's get him through the workday, you know? Very nicely done. The texturing on these jeans, really well done. Nice, just standard blue. I don't think it's a paint app. I think that's just what they molded them in. Knee pads. It's an older figure, so we got the standard old standard of the double jointed. And his boots. Boots nicely painted, nicely sculpted. They have that raised ridge there. Then it goes into here. It's got the ridges along there. You got a raised ridge there. The feet. A little bit of sculpting work there. Got the raised ridge there. Continues throughout. Nice paint application on the boots. Looks like they're molded in this color that this is painted on. Just judging by these angles. So, you know, I've always liked Kanan's outfit. I like how it's the clash of colors. Always like the brassard and stuff. It's really cool. They did a really good job translating it from animation into a more real world look. So overall, they did very well in that department. Now, Articulation, I haven't played with this guy in a while, but I remember him being my favorite Black Series figure of that year. I believe that was 2016 when he came out. That was a while ago, maybe 2017. Let me know in the comments down below if you know what year he came out in. And I always just remember thinking his articulation was fantastic for the time. So let's take a look over it now. Barely any down. You can see that it's like standard. Down like just enough to look down at Ezra, and that's pretty much it. Looking up, you can sort of just look up at Zeb, and that's pretty much it either. So standard, down, up. So not too much neck articulation that way. Obviously we swivel left, we swivel right. Back in these days there was no such thing as tilt on the Hasbro figures, so we don't see that here. And as far as I know, they did not update the articulation on the new figure, they just updated the face. So all these should go for the new figure. Doesn't hinder it too much. This was before they started really doing the soft plastic, so you can see here it bends a little bit, but not too much. Goes up to there. Doesn't hinder it too much though, really. Gets up to almost 90. It hinders it a real world amount. Like honestly, if you're wearing this shoulder plate, you'd just be hitting your own neck at that point, so you wouldn't really get much higher. Swivels all the way around. We have a swivel at the elbow, not the bicep. Elbow gets up to 90. This wrist goes side to side. Oof. Don't know why Hasbro did that. So let's just see if the shoulder gets up higher. Yep, this shoulder gets past 90. And again, swivel at the elbow on this one. No bicep swivel at all on this figure. I'm gonna guess this one is also side to side on the wrist. Yep. More side to side. So both wrists side to side. No up and down. A little disappointing. But you know, I thought it was one of the best a few years ago, so I guess it wasn't too much of a big deal. For his torso, let's see his crunch. A little bit of crunch. Not too much of a crunch though. Like no lean back either. So this guy does not have too much lean or crunch. There was not much of a tilt in the waist back then either. Swivels left to right though. So that's pretty much all you're getting up here is some swivel. You're not gonna get really any crunch. It's kind of negligible. And you're not gonna get any lean. So no waist, so that's all you get. You get torso swivel, no waist swivel. His hips. Now these are some of, I'm gonna do the other hip. This, obviously, as you can see, is attached. So you just gotta be careful with that hip. So I'm gonna demonstrate with this hip. Some good hips, standard 45 degrees. I feel like most Black Series get nowadays. We get some rotation there in the hips, and we also have a thigh swivel. So let me just hold that so I can show you. Got some thigh swivel and some swivel here, so give him a nice kicking pose if you wanted. For his double jointed knees, come up to here. Not quite booty kicking. Kind of gotta force it. So looks like, actually, I don't even know what's really stopping it. You can see there's a gap right there. It could definitely go higher. The plastic doesn't want to. And we got the standard Hasbro swivel rocking ankles, which are the exact same as they are today. Because honestly, I have a lot of different action figure companies. I think Hasbro's ankles are one of, if not the best ankles in the action figure game. The swivel rocking, you can get into pretty much any position you need to. You can get them, I mean, you can just see from all my videos previously, you can get them in any position you want. So they're definitely one of the best ankles in the game. I wish everyone adopted this swivel rocking ankle. Even figures that are, you know, almost 10 times the price. Well, Hot Toys, you don't really articulate at all. I don't think they have any ankle articulation, but you know, figures that are double to triple the price of this, they just don't get anywhere near it. You know, I wish they did, but they didn't. Everyone should adopt these types of ankles. So overall, Good articulation. Not amazing, but I can see why me at the time thought, because I don't know how long you guys have been collecting, but if you've been collecting Black Series since like the beginning like I have, you'll know that back then the articulation was always a little lackluster for the 6-inch line. They were always outshone by like Medicom Mafex and Figure Arts and stuff. Black Series has really stepped up their game, especially in the last year, but really in the last 2 years. They've really stepped up all game, from their sculpt work to the face print to the articulation. They've really become a major player in the game. Obviously when it first came out, like 2013 to, about 2 to 3 years ago. It was probably started like 3 years ago. So yeah, like 2 to 3 years ago. They were just, you fill out your ranks, because Black Series would do figures that Mafex and Figure Arts wouldn't do. So, but you would never be like clamoring for a Black Series for its articulation back then. But as you can see, we've definitely improved today versus this kind of figure. And I wish, rather than just putting out these figures and repainting the faces like they did, it would actually improve the articulation. Maybe give us some new sculpting, retooling, something. That would be nice. Now, he does come with 2 accessories. He comes with his blaster. And honestly, holding this blaster right now, I'm pretty sure this is just, they reused this for Luke's blaster from episode 6. Because this looks great, as you can see here. They put a really nice gunmetal on here. It almost looks like they dry brushed it on. Just looks really good. Sheens where it's supposed to, but it's also got some matte parts and stuff. Looks like the paint's worn away, like it's a well-worn blaster, you know? Really nice. Really good. I like this a lot. And fits into the holster. You guys know how much I love when blasters fit in holsters. I love it so much. I've had too many figures growing up that the holsters did not actually work. So now I get excited every time. But can he hold it well? And if I recall correctly, he does. And he does. Ain't going anywhere. He looks good holding it too, you know? Very nice. Let's put that back in his holster for right now. Stand him up and go over his other accessory, which I'm sure you guys will all be able to predict what it is. It is his lightsaber. Now, this one looks like it's molded in black and given a gunmetal finish onto it. And I say that because you can see here on this like smooth part of the grip, it is a different color. It's just a shade or two darker than the gunmetal that's around the outside. Really good sculpt work on here. I like the ridges here. Like the emitter. This is Kanan's lightsaber, undoubtedly. They did a really good job doing it. Kanan Sabers is one of my favorite. I really like the how it breaks down. It's really cool. This peg I feel like is a bit bigger than it should be, but it needs to be that big. And I'll show you in a second why, because it's one of my favorite features of this entire figure. So as you can see, really well done. Be cool to get the Galaxy's Edge Kanan Saber. Do they make a Galaxy's Edge Kanan Saber? If you guys know, let me know, because I'd be interested in getting that someday. Looks really good. And of course the blade does come out. And one of my favorite features is that comes apart. So just like in the show, the saber breaks down, because obviously after the Jedi Purge, if you survive that, you don't really want to be walking around with a saber. Just advertises, hey, I'm a Jedi, kill me, please. No, Kanan's smarter than that. So he breaks it down and he hides it in 2 parts. That fits in right there. That back, that little hole we saw before. Remember how I said the peg was a little bit too large, but it needed to be, because at this scale, obviously it still needs to go in there tightly. And it fits perfectly. So you can have Kanan in full incognito, gun holstered, saber put away, just like that. I really like it when figures can also just have all of their accessories on them, obviously except for the blade, because that'd be a little weird. But for the most part, you can have all the accessories on him, so you know you don't lose them. Always a problem I have. Very good. So overall, even though the new Kanan, and again, I know this is the old Kanan, but the only difference with the new Kanan is the face printing. I would recommend getting the figure, especially if you're a fan of Rebels, or if you just want to fill out your Jedi ranks, you should get it. If you're a Kanan fan, you should get it. The articulation is a bit out of date, but the articulation is still good enough that you're going to get some really good posing out of it. He's still one of the better articulated figures from that era. I mean, think of the older figures. They were almost statue-like in some ways. I remember him being the first one that was like super dynamic and actually posable and stuff. So honestly, the sculpt, while I would appreciate a new sculpt and a retooling for even more articulation, I can kind of see why Hasbro didn't. A, because they don't want to spend the money on retooling it. They have the old mold just reuse it. And B, because the old sculpt, holds up. The articulation is good enough. It holds up still decently well. I mean, the detail on the old sculpt is great. If you're not a super poser and stuff, and you just care about the detail on the figure, out of this world still. Still the same standards of a 2021 Black Series in terms of detail, especially like on the shirt and stuff. So overall, I would highly recommend this figure. Let me know if you guys have this figure, or if you have the new one with the face printing technology. Let me know if you have the entire Rebel crew, actually. Till next time, and if you do, take a picture of them, drop them on Instagram, tag us at Twin Sons Outpost. I want to see them. I want to see that setup. So now, until next time, may the Force be with you.